What's up, guys? Welcome back here with another review, another SHFiguarts review specifically. This time we have Power, last one in the set right here that I need. Well, technically I still need to get Denji, but I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up. Anyways, we got the front of the box. I love the attention to detail, where the SHFiguarts boxes use the colors of each character's manga cover, like those like it uses those colors, and I think it's just awesome. Anyways, we got the side of the box here. We have the bottom, the other side like that, the top like there, and the back of the box shows off a nice display of the figure and a bunch of parts about it. So we're just gonna crack this one right open, just like last time. We're gonna get straight into it. See here, open it up. We have the instructions on the inside panels, so I forgot to last time. We're gonna actually open up the other side, take a look at that, make sure we're thorough. There we go. So this panel shows a bunch of accessories, so a bunch of Power's hands and the cat Meowie. And then this one shows how to swap out the faceplates and the accessories. Oh, that's cool. It even shows like a little diagram there of the hand. So we are going to close the box back up and get on to the actual figure. So here is everything Power comes with. This is Power in the plastic casing. Nice looking amount of accessories. We are actually gonna raise this up a bit and just reframe a tad just so we can get a little bit more of a top down. There we go. So we're gonna open this sucker up. Just like always, we take a look at the figure first, and I think it's pretty. I like the look they went with. They went with Power in a blue jacket, and obviously the public safety uniform, just like everyone else. I think it looks pretty good. The jacket hangs off of one shoulder, just like in the show and in the manga. I think this looks pretty decent, pretty much like Power in my opinion. I like the hair sculpting. Ooh, I like if you see that there's a gradient. It goes from the top down into there. There's a gradient in the hair. It doesn't show up as well on camera. You can see even the shirt is untucked on one side, same side that the hoodie is coming down on. Has the pants rolled up, shows off her calves down and into the ankles, where we have her shoes, which look exactly like how they do in the show. So we're gonna set Power down over here for a minute, and we're gonna look at everything she comes with. So first thing, which is I think the most obvious thing, is her blood hammer. I think this looks pretty damn good. It has some very nice detailing. The handle is mostly just circular, but at the base here it does kind of get some texture when it joins the actual rest of the hammer. It's actually pretty light, surprisingly. I think it's probably hollow, but it's nice painting on there. I like how they added the black cracks and everything. It really does look like how it looks in the show. Mostly shiny. There is a little bit, if you can see the light reflecting, a little bit of a matte there, so a little bit of a, I guess, paint mishap, but that's fine to me. Next accessory, we got Power's cat Meowie. You know, it's a pretty big plot point in the show, I guess. I think it's a pretty good accessory. I think it looks pretty nice. Honestly, it wasn't exactly needed, but I guess if you're gonna get a figure, you might as well get everything that you can that they come with. Now, these are going to be a little hard to get out. We're going to have to deploy this method like we did last time. We have Power's hammer, like her smaller blood hammer, that I think she gives to Denji a few times actually to borrow, but looks pretty good. It's pretty basic. And then she has two blood daggers, blood knives. There's a little bit of paint on there, but they look pretty good, and I assume they're going to fit pretty well in Power's hands. Then we have a bunch of hands. It's weird because a lot of these seem to be pretty different from each other, unless I'm just crazy. Never mind. We have a lot. Okay, a lot of duplicate ones. So the first set we have is grabbing hands. You can see them right there. Those are just meant for holding things. These are kind of, I guess, gripping hands. Like that. There's two of those. We have these splayed out hands. See that there? The two fingers are together like that, but kind of splayed out there. We have normal resting hands. Like that. They look pretty good, pretty well sculpted, I'd say. Oh yeah, you can even see that she has sculpted fingernails, if it focuses enough. And then, how I think I'm going to display power on my shelf, we have these peace sign hands, and she has two of those. Obviously, I'm going to show everything off in more detail later. Then we're going to look at the faces, and we are actually going to take a look at these on power just in the video, because she kind of got a big-ass forehead. So the first one we have is a kind of scared, shocked face. I think it looks pretty good. Pretty well printed, pretty well sculpted. I think it kind of captures Power's likeness. We have like a confident, screaming face. See, like the teeth are well sculpted. The printing is very nice. They got the eyes very well. As you can see there. Big fan of that. Then we have a kind of displeased, almost crying face, it looks like here. Again, the printing looks great. There's even sweat. So it looks like printed on there. You can see on the cheek and above the eye. And then this is like the confident smirking. This reminds you a lot of Power. This looks a lot like Power to me. This is something she does a lot in the show. So anyways, we're going to put this aside. Oh, that fell over. Put this aside, and we're going to take a look at the actual figure finally. So, head articulation. She can go that far that way, and that far that way. She does have a double jointed neck, but it's a little hindered by the collar of the shirt. So she can look down that much and back that much. And the hair actually is articulated too, so if you wanted to look down, you can have the hair go like that, and to look up, the hair can move back, and so it helps with articulation. So I'm a fan of the way they did that, and it articulates only really how it needs to. I think the Figma version has it in a few parts, which I think is a little unnecessary. The waist, her jacket is a little bit in the way, so it's kind of hard to get things, but it has 3 cuts in it, so you can kind of get some more movement there. It moves forwards that far, and the diaphragm only moves back as far as the jacket will allow, which isn't very much. But it does have a swivel, and so does the waist. The waist can help with that crunch, which actually, with the waist and diaphragm, you get a full 90-degree cut, which is pretty good. And then you can move back a little further using the waist, but the diaphragm gets stopped by the jacket, and then you have a swivel on both the waist and the diaphragm. We're going to go to the arms last this time. Legs can kick out that far, and they don't seem to be hindered at all by the jacket because it's a nice soft material. They can kick forwards a little past 90 and backwards about that much, which isn't terrible, but not the greatest. And you can see the sculpting on the back of the legs is actually, you can see the sculpting of the shirt under there too. Sculpting on the back of the legs is more flat, so you can have Power kick all the way back, which is great, I'd say at least. Oh yeah, there's also, don't let me forget, thigh cuts. You can see that this is like the more newer style basic Figuarts joints. The ankles pivots, and I think they have a little bit of rocker in there. Yeah, they do. And you have the normal toe articulation as to be expected. The arms, I think, are pretty similar. Yeah, you can move the arm out like that and move it in. We have these nice butterfly joints that allow us to get extra movement from the arms, allowing them to kind of cross like that. And you really do get the nice rotation there. But if I can get the arm to some normal spot. We have a bicep swivel on both arms there, you see. It's a little tight, but I think you can get it moving. Arms move up about that much, and then the wrists have the basic SHFiguarts articulation, though they do seem to be a little bit limited by the jacket cuffs, which can be a downside if you really think about it. And these parts are all articulated, which is nice. Not this piece, but these parts of the jacket are articulated, so if you have power lifter arm up, you can kind of move it out the way and move it down if need be, and that way it doesn't really break the sculpt. Same with this one. I'm pretty sure, yeah, you can rotate this depending on how you have the arms. You can rotate like that, and at least from the front, it won't look too bad. The back, well, it's gonna cut there a little bit in the back, but if you just rotate the pieces, if I can get them to rotate, there we go. You can set them back into place, and this is how I think that actually looks really good, the way that they have this sitting like that. I think it folds up pretty nicely, and the sculpt looks pretty good, and this hinges very well on that piece too. This one doesn't have a hinge, but you can kind of get that. Not too many breaks in the sculpt. I think Power seems to pose pretty nicely. I haven't, messed with it because I just got out the box, but she seems to be able to do most of the things you need her to. Looking up is definitely not her strong suit, but I think you can get it working. You can get her in a few decent poses. So we're going to look at all the faces on Power now. We're going to take off the fronts of the hair, which includes the red horns, and take her face off. You'll see it works just like every other SHFiguarts figure. And we're going to get the kind of smirking face. I think that looks pretty good on Power. I like the way that they really sculpted the hair out. I think it really just looks like the character. And you can get those alternate hands. This is something that I was really hoping for. I like the peace signs. You can get her to pose any which way, kind of hit whatever. But yeah, I think pretty good articulation. It's pretty much the same as all the other Chainsaw Man figures. I mean, it's a little bit hindered by the jacket, which is a little bit to be expected. We're gonna get those gripping hands in now and get a look at the weapons on the figure. I think first we're just going to start with, obviously, the hammer. Boom. Sits in your hand like it's a hammer. I think it looks pretty good. You can get her to, do whatever with it. And then the blood machetes, I guess, fit in also pretty nicely. This one seems to be a little bit looser, but pretty snug fit. You can kind of get her to hold it, however. And you can hold it like how she does in the show, which is backwards, like that. Kind of get her in a crouch position like this. And get her to really be posted up like that. I think, she actually poses really well. You seem to be able to get her in a decent amount of poses. If you like that, you can kind of stand her like that. And then the thing that I'm really excited for is the massive blood hammer. I saw this and I want to display her with this on my shelf. So you can get her to hold it pretty easily, position her hands on it however which way. And I mean, obviously it is going to weigh her down, so it depends on the position you get her to hold it in. But you can kind of raise it above her head, just like any two-handed item with any figure. And get her to use it like that. I'm really bad at posing on the fly, but you know, you'll see examples of everything. You can really get her to do anything and hold it. I'm surprised she's actually able to kind of stay up well holding this big hammer, seeing as the weight. But yeah, you can get her to kind of pose like that, and she seems to be holding it pretty fine. Try to have her look up more like that. There we go. She seems to be holding it pretty fine. I think, man, she's gonna look really good with the rest of the line. I'll show that. But yeah, I think great articulation. Does she have a extra? No, she doesn't have an extra joint there. So yeah, you just have the ankle rocker. And yeah, you can get her to pose with a hammer. One thing that I definitely wanted to try, and I'll probably just insert it, but I'm gonna mess with this. Getting the hammer on the ground and seeing if it can kind of pose her up. Yeah, you can get her to kind of stand on it and use it as almost like a base, and it looks really dynamic and really cool. I think honestly that is going to conclude the review of Power. Not much really to go over with her besides just, you know, the articulation and the look of the figure. I think it really does capture Power in, well, pretty much all of her stuff, and I think she looks really good. I am going to obviously have a ton of fun posing this figure with the rest of the Chainsaw Man characters and having fun with that. Make sure to like, subscribe to join the review, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace out.
Tell the tale of Power, the greatest of them all!